IVM.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into a show about crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM Podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
So you are switching your job for a third time because you have a horrible boss. Did I get that right? I mean, every single time that you get a new job, it all starts off really nicely and then you end up with a really, really horrible boss. To anyone who has this story and is tuned into this episode, I really want to ask you, how come your luck shines so bright every single time? I mean, sure, you can get a bad boss in one job and you can change jobs, but how is it that you get stuck with a horrible, mean, unkind boss every single time? Hi, I'm Chetna, and in today's episode, I'm slicing through this drama that's called Bad Boss Karma. Let me ask you this, and this is a question to everyone who thinks that they have bad boss karma and are always stuck with the mean, unkind ones. Are you a people pleaser? Are you somebody who does not take criticism very well anyway? Is the voice of judgment extremely loud in your head in any case? Well, if you answered yes to any of these three questions, or then to all of these three questions, then maybe you need to look at yourself in the mirror before you start blaming the boss. And no, I'm not saying that the boss is not mean or not unkind or not a pain. Maybe he or she is, but you are giving yourself to this person on a platter. I mean, you're feeding the monster within them. Let's also understand this. Every boss, or rather a boss, is not supposed to be your friend. They are not even supposed to be your mentor or your guide in a mandatory sort of way. They are there to do a job. You are part of their team. Yes, your growth is part of their KRA. Sure, but that does not mean that they have to mollycoddle you or guide you or mentor you through every breathing moment of your day at the workplace. Understand that you also have been hired to fulfill a role, and that role involves being part of a team and following the path that your boss sets up for the team to follow, right? How well are you doing this? If it's anything other than appreciation, anything other than patting you on the back, you're going to label them as a bad boss. Yeah, sure, you might start with you not being good enough and how you need to improve and how you're not doing enough at work. But eventually that drama will turn into resentment, and that resentment will lead to your boss being labeled as a bad boss. I usually have a very simple policy. If I'm driving and it is my car, then the rules are mine. When I'm sitting in your car and you are driving, I'll follow your rules. So similarly, when you are part of a team, your boss sets the rules, which means how a presentation has to happen, how a certain project has to be handled, how the entire team has to follow a certain direction. I mean, all of these are at his choosing and prerogative. He is leading the team. And when he does place the opportunity for everybody to speak up and for everybody to give inputs, you had better be speaking up and giving inputs. However, it does not mean that your boss has to like them or agree with them. Just because you have given an input, just because you have an idea, does not mean that they need to follow it or they need to think it's great or their idea is not as good as yours or yours is the best idea in the room. I mean, aren't you being a little entitled and high-handed when you stand up and put your boss down as somebody who doesn't have any brains or who doesn't know his job? When you do that, always remember one thing. They are the ones sitting in a cabin leading a team, and you are the one sitting on a desk along with 5 of your colleagues. There is a reason why they succeeded on earning a certain designation that is now stamped on their visiting card. Whoever your boss is, however they may behave, first give the person a certain amount of credit for reaching where they have reached in their career. Now, once you do that, then try and assess. Did they really get there in a way that is incorrect as per your principles? And are they not worthy of your respect completely? Or then they reached where they reached because they knew how to network, how to smoosh a few egos, and also perform. Here I'm going to bust another myth of yours, and I have busted this myth in an earlier episode of Say No to Drama. You will not succeed only based on merit. No, you will not succeed only based on how great you are at your job. Because your job is not just about fulfilling your KRAs. It's also about whether you are a team player or not. How well do you respond to authority and leadership? How well do you network? How well do you get along with the rest of the organization? How in sync are you with the general culture as well as the goals of the organization? There is a lot that goes into being a successful employee and being successful at your job and climbing that corporate ladder. And you performing in your role, fulfilling those basic KRAs is just one part of that entire process. It's just one thing on that entire list that is needed for you to succeed. I'll give you one more perspective before I sign off. Maybe your boss, he or she, is really a bully. Maybe they really are somebody who has a lot of drama and is insecure and comes from a space of ego. Maybe all of this is true. Maybe they are absolutely horrible. But ask yourself this. When you first joined this job, what all did you do to impress this person? What all habits did you start to build so that this person would appreciate you, acknowledge you, and validate you? And are they wrong to now think that you are somebody that they can run over completely? What part did you play in them thinking that it is okay to treat you a certain way? Before you start screaming about bad boss karma, before you quit your job and land another job with a bad boss, please look in the mirror and change certain behaviors, responses, and reactions. Why? So that wherever you head from here, whichever organization, whichever company, whoever's your boss, you don't repeat the same mistakes and you don't end up with the same karmic cycle all over again. You want your life to change? You need to change. You want to attract a better management? You need to make certain changes in the kind of employee that you are being. It's really that simple. And on that note, I'm going to head out of here, but go back to the previous episodes. I think I did mention a lot about how we all should be working in the episode called The Hustle Drama. There is also an episode on Follow Your Passion. And yes, there was the last episode, which is all about last minute ninjas. Make sure you listen to all of these episodes to change the way you are functioning at your workplace. And I'll also tell you this. In my previous podcast, Positively Unlimited, there is an episode I've done on validation and an entire series of episodes I've done on work-life balance. Listen to those because there are tiny things that you can change starting today, which will change the trajectory of your career. On that note, guys, all previous episodes are available on the IVM Podcast website and app, and you can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is IVM Podcasts. If you would like to reach out to me and sign up for one of my programs or just do a session, my Instagram handle is Positivity Angel. Looking forward to chatting with each and every one of you. I do love the DMs you guys send me telling me how these podcast episodes make a difference to your life. So keep them coming.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, Aswin, DJ and Varun talk about Virat Kohli's shocking announcement about giving up the Indian T20 and RCB captaincy. And they review the opening match of the IPL between the Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by musicians Hanita Bhambri and Kevin Fernando, along with Arjun Koladi from Spotify to talk about the shifts in the music space. The latest Cadbury ad remix sparks an interesting thought in Siddharth's mind. Is this a hack by advertisers to cut the clutter, or are they running out of content? Join the Simplified gang, Chuck, Naren, Shriketh and Tony as they discuss why all platforms are trying to be like each other. And on Tere Mere Raste, Keshu takes us to a city known as the Rare Desert Oasis, Bikaner. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really does help us. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Inter vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible. Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.